your lady Charmaine, and my guests today are pastors, recording artists, entrepreneurs, music executives, former pro basketball players, and now reality stars. And they're here today to talk about their new reality show entitled Thicker Than Water. Help me welcome Ben and Jewel Tankard to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, how we doing?
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm telling you, your resumes are just full and plentiful. And so we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about the show and all the exciting things that God is doing in your life, which is truly amazing. But first, I want to say congratulations on your reality show. You debuted to 1.5 million people. How does that feel?
Girl, we are so excited. You know, I'm always bragging. For the last 20 years, I've been traveling as a recording artist in the smooth jazz and gospel jazz world, and I'm always bragging about my family. So I was so glad when Bravo gave me an opportunity for us to do this reality show so you guys could experience the joy that I experienced every day with 5 kids, 2 daughter-in-laws, and a grandchild at the Tankard Palace, and I'm excited you get to see it.
Now, Jewel, how did Bravo even find your family? Because we're going to talk about you had another reality show experience, but how did Bravo find your family?
You know, it's kind of interesting. Ben has had some things out there on the internet in terms of YouTube with video clips of our family that was just really goofy because all of us are kind of goofballish. And so, and then my oldest daughter was doing some things in PR. And so I think between those videos getting out there was one video in particular called Kitchens in the Kitchen where they just fell in love with that. And it was like talking about, you know how black girls, we had them naps in the back. Mm-hmm. And he put a little perm kit on that little video. Honey, that thing was hilarious. And they did a dance and a song talking about kitchens in the kitchen, how you need a perm. That thing was silly. And that was really the video that they saw that they fell in love with. And we really feel like it was something God had spoke to our hearts probably about 6 years ago that we were supposed to do TV the unconventional way. And so we really believe that this is just the unfolding, you know, of his plan. And it's something different, something out of the box. But I really can sense the presence and the hand of God on it.
So Bravo, so people really do go to YouTube looking at videos, and you just never know that you can become discovered. So is that your testimony? Is that what happened?
Well, you know, part of it, because I'm a motivational speaker for the NBA, and I've been a pretty successful gospel jazz artist in terms of Grammy nominations and stellars and stuff over the years. My name has been floating around Hollywood for some time, and my music is published through NBC Universal, which is the same company that owns Bravo. So I guess, you know, one person talks to another and they connect the dots, and here we are today. We're glad to be here too.
So this is a great way for you to really and truly brag on your family by bringing your family to the forefront.
Absolutely. And I mean, you talking about some life lessons. You know, I don't call it drama. I'll call it Christian calamities with a heavenly conclusion.
Got real deep. Okay. Amen. No, that was a good way to put it. Now I have a question for you. What is it that you want the viewing audience to receive from your family or learn about your family after watching your show?
Well, Jewel and I have 2 different things that we want our audience to leave with. What I want the audience to leave with is it is okay for you to dream again. You know, I was born in poverty, lived in it for more than 2 decades, had an opportunity to go to the NBA, got cut because of an injury, but God still had a talent inside me that was a platinum talent. And I know that talent is in everybody. It might not be music, but it might be authoring a book. It might be sewing. And I just want people to not give up on their dreams. And you can be successful if you just give God time to develop your gifts. Don't give up on your dreams.
Amen.
And I really want people to fight for their family again. I think in our community in particularly, we have, you know, over the years, I think, you know, back in the day, we were real close. Big Mama kept the family together, and a lot of the big mamas have died off, and there's not really anybody in that family that really pushes unity and coming together and overcoming issues. You know, it was the big mama to say, hey, I don't care about y'all not getting along. You still family, you still going to love each other. And I think that's really why Tyler Perry with Medea did so amazing, because she represented something that our families don't see. And so I think to have a black man love a black woman with children, and then showing them how to blend them together. And yeah, they're going to see issues, and yeah, they're going to see rivalry, but you best believe at the end of the day, we love each other, and we really get on our children. If it looks like it's getting ready to be a serious rift, were they really tripping? Oh, no, we are so not tolerating that. So I think it's going to help people say, you know what, I'm going to fight again. I haven't talked to Aunt Beulah in a long time, but I'm about to pick up the phone and call her because I don't even remember what I was mad at. And so I think, and they're going to get a whole lot of Jesus in there, too, a lot of life lessons.
That's really good because, like you said, you have a blended family. Now, were you, when you brought your family together, did you have a little tension, or did your family just come together in peace and harmony that most families don't really do today, trying to bring two families together?
Girl, that's a good question, and we don't want to be a spoiler because we do visit those, reminisce on those situations in this series. But just to be honest with you, when we first got together, we decided not to have any steps. We said we don't believe in stepdaddy, stepmama. You know, you ain't none of my mama, you ain't none of my daddy, you can't whoop me. We decided to merge all these cuties together and happy family. Now, they didn't always act happy, but we confessed that they were happy. And, you know, we worked through different issues. And I think if the advice that Drew and I can give to blended families that are just coming together, throw all your rules out the door when you come together. Don't bring in anything from anything before. Just start over, set your own new rules, because each kid has to be administrated justice totally different. You whoop one child, it'll crush him. You not whoop another child, he'll end up being a convict. So you have to look at each situation and agree on the parenting when you come together and make it all brand new and make it fun.
Now, Ben, I'm glad you touched on that. What do you do? Okay, say for instance, okay, you say in your household, you don't do step. We do mom and dad. Well, I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, what if the other parent looks at it? No, that is your stepmom. That is your stepdad. You better not call him mom. How do you handle that situation if the other parent is telling the child that?
Very good. Very good. We had, like, my kid's mother is named Benita, so we had, when we referred to her, we would say Mama Benita, and then they would refer to my wife as Mama Jules. So they had the benefit of having two mamas. So it's Daddy Ben or Daddy James or whatever. And so as opposed to doing the steps, you know, nobody gets stepped on, and it takes some time. It's not an exact science. And one of the things that Jules and I learned, and it took us about 6 or 7 years to come to that conclusion, we had to stop talking negative about the children's mom or exes, you know, because we didn't realize that by talking negative about the exes, even when the kids would come visit on visitation days and say, you know, my mama did this, and I say, what's your crazy mama doing now? even though they were agreeing with my negativity, they still was internalizing it as me insulting them as well as the mom.
Wow.
So when we came to the conclusion that we should pray for the exes and talk good of them and make the kids call them on holidays, et cetera, it made life in our house a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it has to do with the age. You know, the children were younger when we got married, so it definitely helped. If you have older children that you're trying to blend together, they're going to be a whole other set of issues and possible challenges that are going to have to work through. When they were younger, it was probably easier. And then as they got older, you know, some of the issues started coming in because their mom was very, very, very lenient. You know, that gate was real wide, and they come over our house, and we have rules and boundaries and structure, and they define that as being mean. So it took a long time for us to just, you know, try to teach them without bashing her, and for years we did until the Holy Spirit convicted us and said, stop, because you're promoting strife. Your heart ain't right. You know, even though some of the things you may be saying are right, the way you're dealing with it is strife, and it's bitterness, and it's unforgiveness. So stop it. So Ben and I repented of that, like you said, about 7 years ago. But we were trying to find a way to teach them, you know, that what we were doing wasn't mean. We were just trying to set some order. So there are lots of different things that you may have to deal with at different ages, you know. So each situation is going to be a little bit unique.
I'm so glad you explained that, because a lot of people, as we all know, you have blended families and they all go through different situations. Jewel, you hit a point when you said, age does matter. If they're smaller, if they're older, bringing that in. Sometimes there's still hurt and resentment and bitterness from when the other person was married to the other person. And all of that kind of comes into play. And like you said, I'm so glad you acknowledged that, because people need to sometimes own their own stuff. Strife. Knowing you're
Right.
knowing what you did in this situation as well. Because a lot of people, that takes a mature person, to admit they're wrong and their role in it too.
And we find that you get the most victory in a blended family when you are quick to put your own self on the cross. As soon as you crucify yourself, now we can have some healing. But as long as you're crucifying another party, then that's going to be bloodshed that continues.
Ooh, that is so good. See, y'all up here preaching and everything. So I'm sure the audience is really enjoying this right about now. But I wanted to talk to you because I had read a blog, and there was a blog, and they were pretty critical about the show, which I was pretty surprised in regards to trying to say that you guys are promoting things, or you more so highlighted the things that you have instead of ministry. How do you feel about that, knowing that people are now taking the show and turning it into something that you really wasn't trying to promote?
Well, I don't blame them for their perception, because with a trailer being only 2 minutes and the first episode only being 46 minutes plus commercials, it's hard to squeeze a bottleneck an entire season into the first show. And TV is TV, so TV, they're going to do whatever it's going to take to create chatter, to get you to talk about it, to get you to watch it. Because believe me, of those 1.6 million people that watched it, it was haters as well as lovers. And so the Nielsen ratings doesn't define if you like me or not. They just define if you turn the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes there's some chatter that goes forward. That's just the TV. But the way we like to say it is that if you would just stick with the show until the end of the season, you'll see all the lessons that we want to teach. Us testifying about the great things that God has done, it's done to inspire people. There's nobody that's listening to the program or watching the program that has been poorer than me. I used to shovel chicken manure on a chicken farm. My dad used to walk around with food stamps on a money clip. We used to have welfare peanut butter, welfare powdered eggs, and stuff like that. We had to walk everywhere. That's the reason I got so many cars now, because when I was a kid, we never had a car except one time. And so we tried to lay out a testimony, and some of the things that you say does end up on the cutting room floor sometimes, but if people just stick with it, just like when you walk in the kitchen and Grandma's cooking breakfast, you can't come in right after she cracked the first egg and say, "Grandma, this breakfast is horrible." You got to wait till she gets through cooking it before you say, "Grandma, that was a nice breakfast." And so I'm saying, let the cake get done before you pull it out the oven. I promise everyone will be blessed by this program.
Okay. Now, do you feel that Christians, we're getting a bad rap because it appears that we're highlighting the blessings that God has bestowed upon us instead of just celebrating what God has done in someone's life? Because we all want what you got. I'm going to be real. I like your house, your cars, your plane, and I'm going to celebrate with you. But not everybody can do that. And sometimes people feel that Christians should, keep all their blessings and things behind the door. And I'm just really curious. Do you think Christian reality shows are getting a bad rap because we're now seeing what God has done in people's lives?
Yeah, I think it's something new, and I think anytime you do something new, people don't like change. And so this is the church coming outside of the four walls, and it's different. And that's why I love people like Bishop Jakes, who's really done a great job at blazing the trail and doing movies and production and, Mary, and the list can go on. And so I think that in a few years, it will become commonplace. But right now, it's just like, oh, my goodness, what in the world are they doing? And so what I've been saying in the interviews is let's make sure that we are not defining people, by what they have, and define them by who they are and how they treat people and how they treat their family and how they respond to conflict. We got to get back to judging a man by his character. That was the whole thing that Martin Luther King fought for. Let's not start judging people based on their color. But we got to do the same thing here. Don't judge me if I drive an Escort or a Mercedes. Judge me based on who I am. And I want to say this because I said a comment on there that everybody really just were like, oh my gosh, when I said, you know, if I would have had to take a vow to poverty, I would have never gotten saved. Well, that was a mindset that I had at that time. I was a senior in college. I had dated drug dealers. I didn't date them because they were broke. I mean, that's just real. I dated them because there was a lifestyle that I wanted. And then when I went to church at that particular time, I did not see an example of somebody happy, enjoying life, having fun. They were struggling. They were broken down. It was, Lord, if I could just get to church, there was nothing about it that attracted me. And so, of course, through challenges, it brought me to my knees, and I came to the church and fell in love with Jesus, and I learned that, you know, that I could have those things as well as be rich in joy, rich in peace, and rich in health. But that was the mindset then, and I think there are a lot of people with that mindset. They're like, if I gotta, you know, be broke and broken down and downtrodden, I don't want it. And so I think that it will speak to those people and hopefully the other people that are like, oh my gosh, how could you say that? Well, but that's really what I thought. So we got to give people space and room to grow.
And I've tried it both ways. That's why, you know, I spoke from my own testimony. I said I've been poor, which I was for over two decades, and now I'm rich. Rich is better. Mm-hmm. But now, how I define rich is I've been divorced. Now I'm happily married. I've been bankrupt. Now I'm financially successful. I've been depressed. Now I'm happy. So I define rich as complete. Totally complete, mind, spirit, and body, whatever tax bracket you are in. Doesn't mean that if you don't have $1 million that you're not doing good. You can be rich making $6,000 a year if you're happy. If you got a smaller car, just keep it clean. If you live in a mobile home, make sure it smells good. It's not about what you have; it's how you act with what you have. And to have a rich life, you just have to make sure you put God first, no matter what tax bracket you are in.
You know, both of you guys are saying something that is really, really true. Because, Jewel, I totally agree with you. Before I became a Christian 22 years ago, that's how I felt. I thought everybody in the church was just broke, busted, disgusted, sad, mad, didn't have anything that I wanted. But they say they had Jesus. And I'm like, okay, I thought this God was this big and he's going to bless you. But I didn't see that. So I'm so glad you brought that across, because a lot of people do think that way. You know, it's like, okay, well, do I got to be broke, you know, in order for me to go to church? Or can I still live a lifestyle of blessing and be saved? So thank you so much for bringing that across.
Yes, ma'am. And, you know, we're excited to be with you guys today. God has been blessing us so fast, and we're just on for the ride, and we appreciate you guys having us today. We've had a great time.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful, because I want to bring up, I don't know if many people know, unless they have watched the Amateur Millionaires reality show that was on Centric, that Jewel by herself has done tremendously well. We know Ben and your career, because Ben, at my wedding reception, we played your entire CD for my entire wedding reception. So Ben Tankard was the musician at my wedding reception. But Jewel, you also do Artist International, and you became a millionaire yourself through Artist International. What made you even want to sell girl girdles?
Well, Jewel, I'm sorry, Jewel had to step out just for a second. I can answer for her. You know, Jewel wanted to get into a network marketing business that she could pass on to other ladies. It's one thing to be a recording artist, but everybody can't do that. It's one thing to be an athlete, but everybody can't do that. It's one thing to be an actor, but everybody can't do that. But when you're part of a network marketing company where everyone is basically marketing the same product, it's an open playing field. And so she jumped into that so she could have something that she could pass on to the ladies in the church, the ladies in the community, and help other women at a fast rate become millionaires themselves. And she did that many times over.
Yes, she did an excellent job. And again, I want to remind everyone to make sure that they tune in Sunday night on Bravo right after Real Housewives of Atlanta, 9/8 Central. Make sure you tune in to Thicker Than Water. So if you want to continue to see the rest of their life unfold, tune in with me this Sunday. Ben, it was truly a pleasure having you on the show. And please tell Jewel again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.